This All right, so it was June of 2000, and we were off to Russia, a group of 7 of us, intrepid astronaut wannabes, to do a week of training alongside Russian astronauts at Star City in Moscow. And for some reason, everyone in this group was just totally fascinated by my Nike shoes. I don't know why. Very interesting. But you'll notice there a woman here with white hair. Her name is Wally Funk. Quite an extraordinary woman in the world of aviation. That's her right there. You should Google her, Wally Funk. Really amazing. She became the oldest person to ever go into space at age 89 on Jeff Bezos' rocket. So this is one of our things we did. The Neutral Buoyancy Lab is basically it's a giant swimming pool. I think it's 60 feet deep, and they've got a mock-up of the Mir space station. So the closest way you can come to simulating zero gravity on Earth is in water. That's why it's called the Neutral Buoyancy Lab, because everyone's just neutral. You don't sink, you don't float, you just stay where you want to be. And we got to swim in and out and through the mock-up of the space station and operate some tools, because believe me, trying to turn a wrench on a nut without gravity is not easy to do. So I actually had to get certified as a diver in order to be able to experience this part of the training. So even though I knew how to dive, because I taught myself when I lived in Fiji, I had to go through the whole scuba diving training and certification course if the Russians were going to let me do this. So that was pretty cool. But it was really neat and fun. Then I got to try on a Russian spacesuit, the Sokol SV-1, which is a rescue suit. It's not designed to be used outside of a spacecraft because it doesn't have any life support system. It's just there to wear in case there is a cabin depressurization and all the air gets sucked out. Without the suit, you die pretty quickly. So the suit is designed to create an atmosphere around you in the event that the cabin loses its atmosphere. And it's a pretty neat suit. This is the same design they've been using since the very beginning of the Russian space program. I mean, I'm sure there's been some modifications made, but in essence, it is the same suit. And it's interesting, you climb through the front in a bladder. That's and then you roll it up and close it, kind of like the way you close a bread sack to make sure that it's airtight. And then when they put you in the seat, they really strap you in. You're not just wearing a harness or seatbelt. They strap your whole body down, because rocket launches tend to be quite violent inside, and there's a lot of shaking. And you want to be as solidly affixed to your seat as you possibly can be. Now that big blue knob in the center, that controls the pressure in the suit. There's a gauge on your left wrist that shows you what the air pressure is. So by adjusting that knob, you can get the pressure inside just to what you need. And then as the air flows in and out, you're constantly breathing fresh air, because it just doesn't inflate and stay like that. There's a constant flow of air coming through. And that blue knob just determines how much stays in the suit to create pressure and how much comes out of the suit so there's no CO2 buildup. And the gloves were pretty articulate. I mean, or pretty allowed me to be dexterous. I could write quite well with it, and of course I wrote what I wanted to say. Okay, guys, I want one of these, and I did manage to talk the Russian Space Agency out of a spacesuit for a mere $15,000. What a bargain! Here I am with my suit, just relaxing, and here you can see I'm wearing it with a model of my rocket. Then it was time for what everybody was really looking forward to, our experience in the Vomit Comet, to experience zero gravity. So there's the Ilyushin 76, and this is what we were all getting ready to go do. And it's really, really exciting because, oh, here's old Wally again. Yeah, you'll see her here. What happens is the plane climbs, I think, up to about, I don't know, 40,000 feet, 50,000 feet or something. And then when it does this parabolic arc, that's where the gravity just kind of switches off. And you got 30 seconds of zero G. And at the end of 30 seconds, the plane has to pull up, because the whole time inside this airplane, we don't even realize it, but it is diving at the ground at 32 feet per second acceleration in order to get the equivalence of zero G. But it's a really unique feeling. I can't really explain what it's like to just not have any gravity around you, but it's really, really cool. The only problem is, though, every time you experience the zero G, for 30 seconds, your equilibrium gets messed up between the right and left side of your head. And then when the gravity comes back on, that unequal level remains until you once again get into zero G again. Well, each time this would happen, as soon as the gravity came back on, we'd feel a little bit more nauseous, a little bit more nauseous each time. And finally, I think we did, it was either 7 or 8 circuits. And the women seemed to do pretty good, but all of us guys, we were all throwing up by the end of that 7th or 8th circuit. It just, it really does a number on you. And when we landed, if they said, "You want to go again?" the women said yes, the guys all said no. But about an hour later, yeah, we would have done it. Then it was time for the centrifuge. And this was great fun. Well, not fun, but, well, it was fun. And they strap you into this big chair, and they slide you into this thing, and then it starts to spin. Now, a lot of people ask, but don't you get nauseous or sick in this thing? And no, you don't, because when you're spinning, the G-forces are pushing you straight back. It's not like being on a roller coaster. It's not like being on a fighter jet making maneuvers that causes your equilibrium to get all messed up, just like in the zero G. This is just pulling you straight back in your seat, and there's no sensation of spinning. Now, there are windows on this thing, and you saw that you were spinning, then yes, your brain would then say, "Oh, we're spinning, let's get sick." But without windows, you just don't know that you're spinning. So it's just full the gravity. Now, they only would take people on these astronaut experiences up to 6 Gs because they don't want to risk going any higher. But because I had my home centrifuge and I showed them videos of it, they actually took me up to 8 Gs, which I think made the rest of the people in my group a little bit envious. But yeah, there you can see my home centrifuge, and it's spinning quite a bit faster. Now, I also built something I called the MAD machine, which means multi-axis disorientation. And yes, this thing would make you sick.